So we'll start today's practice sitting in a comfortable position. If you want to sit on a pillow to make it a little bit more comfortable, go for it. But in general, we just want to be able to sit easily with your hands resting on your thighs or your lap and your eyes closed. And we're going to begin with a little bit of mindful breathing. So just feel the air coming into your body. Just feel your breath happen naturally and evenly without pushing the air down or forcing the air out. Just see if you can observe what happens in the physicality of your breath. See if you can observe the muscles in your chest as they expand when you take in a breath. Even bring the awareness down to your belly. See how deep a breath goes when you're not trying too hard to breathe, something that happens all the time. Maybe observing what happens in your neck and shoulders when you exhale. And it's in the process of bringing your attention to all of these little physicalities. So something as ordinary as breathing, that would bring your mind into your body's time, which is always in the present. So bring a little bit more intention into your breath now. So inhaling a little bit deeper so your spine gets a little bit taller. Then as you exhale, tuck your belly button in towards your spine and up towards your heart. So you begin to hollow out your belly at the end of the exhale. And just see how that changes using all of your breath. And then setting an intention for your practice today. And making movement with breath, inhaling, reaching both hands up over your head. And then exhale, slowly reaching your fingertips out to the sides and metering your breath so your lungs are empty by the time your fingers find the floor. Once they find the floor, pushing out all the air at the bottom, just being comfortable having no air in your body for a minute. Inhale slowly, reaching both hands back up to the sky. At the very top, sip in a little bit more air. And again, exhale, reaching your fingertips as far out as you can so your lungs are empty by the time your fingers find the floor. And then pushing out all the air at the bottom. Once again, inhaling, reaching both hands up towards the sky. And then exhale, reaching your fingertips out to the side. So you feel that blood rushing along your shoulders, down your arms, all the way to your fingertips when they ground out at the floor. And inhaling, both hands back up to the sky. And then from here, we're going to drop your right hand down by the side and reach your left arm over your body. So extending your left fingertips towards the opposite wall and then rolling your left shoulder blade over the right so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. Taking a deep breath. And then on an exhale, floating back up to center, bringing both hands to the sky. And then switching sides, dropping your left hand down to the ground, reaching your right arm over your head, and then rolling your right shoulder blade over the left so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. Floating back up towards center. Both hands come up to the sky, taking a deep breath. Exhale, both hands down to the ground. Inhale, reaching both hands back up. And then on an exhale, we're going to pivot to turn your heart to the right and bring your left hand to your right leg and your right hand behind your lower back. Inhale into a very straight spine, and then exhale to twist to look over your right shoulder. As you inhale, your spine gets a little bit taller. As you exhale, you twist just a little bit deeper. On an exhale, coming back up to center, both hands raising up to the sky. Taking a breath, and then switching sides. Turning your heart to the left. Bring your right hand to your left knee, left hand behind your back. Inhale into a straight spine, and then exhale to twist to look over your left shoulder. One more breath here. And then on the exhale, floating back up to center, both hands come up to the sky. Exhale, hands down by the sides. And one last time. Inhaling, reaching both hands up. And then exhale, folding over at the waist into an easy forward fold. And wherever you're at here, you can let your hands kind of give you a little bit of support, or you can fully fold down to let your forehead come down towards the floor. If it's not quite touching the floor in that general direction, is kind of what we're rooting for. Taking a deep breath so your belly expands, but there's no room for your belly to expand, so it kind of pushes out through your lower back. Slowly walking both hands over to the right side. So you're draping your heart over your left leg and you feel a stretch through your left rib cage. Taking a deep breath and then soften over your right thigh, letting your head drop down towards your knee. At your own pace, walking both hands over to the left side. So you can drape your heart over your left leg, taking a deep breath with long exhale, softening over that thigh. Letting your chin rest on your left knee. One last time, bringing both hands back to center. And maybe letting your forehead drop down towards the floor just a little bit deeper. Before walking yourself back up. And we'll make our way all the way onto hands and knees. With your knees under your hips and your fingertips spread wide and your hands under your shoulders, we're going to go into cat and cow. So inhale to look up, dropping your belly down to the ground. And then exhale, curving your chin to your navel, arching your spine up towards the ceiling. Objective here is to feel one vertebrae sliding over the other. So warm up all the muscles along your spine and your shoulder girdle, your neck. Just moving at your own pace. I'm just trying to notice anything that you notice as you flow through the movement. I'll take one or two more passes. And then eventually meet in a nice neutral spine. And pushing your heart away from the floor and lengthening out the crown of your head towards the front of the room. You're going to extend your right arm forward, so your right biceps is in line with your right ear. And then push your left heel straight back behind you. Taking a deep breath, and then on the exhale, connect elbow to knee under your body. And then inhale to extend, reaching out long. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. Exhale to connect. One more time, reaching out. And coming back onto all fours. Just take a moment to resettle your knees. Then reaching your left arm out in front of you. Left biceps in line with your left ear, looking straight down at the floor. And then pushing your right heel straight back behind you. Taking a deep breath, and then on the exhale, connect elbow to knee under your body. Inhale to extend, reaching out. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. Exhale to connect. Inhale to extend. And then coming back down onto all fours. Bring your knees out to either side of the mat with your big toes touching. We're going to come all the way back into child's pose. So you're letting your bum rest on your heels. And walk your fingertips out in front of you. And let your forehead drop down onto the mat. For a little bit of an awkward active child's pose, we're going to press your fingertips into the mat. So you're just gently driving your bum down towards your heels. And your lats are engaged. From here, we're going to curl under your toes and come into the first downward dog of this morning's practice. So pressing your fingertips into the floor and pushing your body away from your hands. Your head is loose and relaxed, and your hips are reaching up towards the ceiling. You can, for this first downward dog, you can pedal your heels, you can shake your head, you can roll your shoulders, you can kind of do whatever you need to do to wake up your body. Just kind of see what feels tight, what feels strong. And then creating a pedaling motion in your feet, we're going to walk your feet to your hands until we all find ourselves into an easy forward fold. Letting your head and arms just relax down. Swish your arms side to side. Wiggle your butt side to side. Again, just keeping those organic movements, whatever you kind of need to do to make it your practice. Then putting a little bend in your knee, we're going to curl one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to standing. Rolling your shoulders up and back. Inhale, reaching both hands up over your head. And then exhale, hands down by your sides. Inhale, reaching both hands up, grabbing onto a giant ball of happiness. And reach that ball over to one side of the room, stretching so you feel a stretch across your lats and your ribs, your obliques. Squeezing back up to center, floating over in the other side. Feeling that stretch across your right side. Get all in there. Back up to center, opening up your heart into a gentle back bend. And then exhale to fold down into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the spine, so flattening your back, reaching the crown of your head towards the front of the room. And then exhale to walk yourself out into your plank. So for the first chaturanga, we'll do the variation of lowering down knees, chest, and chin, keeping your elbows tight into your sides. And then floating up into baby cobra. So drawing your shoulders down away from your ears and your elbows tight into your sides, and your heart is raising up off the floor. Pressing the tops of your feet into the mat behind you. So hands could come off the mat here, but they're there just to give you a little bit of support. Pushing off your hands and knees all the way back into child's pose. And then curling under your toes to come into your downward facing dog. This time holding the downward dog with a little bit more intention. So trying to push your heels down to the floor behind you and the backs of your knees to the wall behind you. And as always, your hips are floating up towards the ceiling as if someone tied a giant helium balloon around your waist. It's just pulling you up off the floor. Holding here for 2 more long, slow, deep breaths. And looking in between your hands, stepping your right foot forwards, followed by your left into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold down a little bit deeper. And then inhale all the way to standing, raising both hands up to the sky, grabbing onto your giant golden orb of joy, extending it towards one side of the room. Extend it towards the other side of the room. Coming back up towards center, opening up your back into a gentle back bend. And then exhale to fold down into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, stepping your right foot back, followed by your left. And you can either take the knees, chest, chin, chaturanga, or full high to low push-up, chaturanga. You can come to the baby cobra like last time, pulling your heart forwards into upward facing dog. From here, curling over your toes to come into your downward facing dog. Keeping your fingertips spread wide and pressing into the mat, inhaling fully and exhaling completely. We hold here for 5 breaths total. One more breath. Then on the exhale, stepping your left foot forwards, followed by your right. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold down a little bit deeper. Inhale, floating all the way up to standing, raising both hands up to the sky. Then exhale, glitter fingers down to the ground. Lovely. Glitter fingers back up to the sky. Then exhale to fold down into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, stepping your left foot back, followed by your right. Taking whichever form of chaturanga you prefer, knees, chest, chin, or full high-low push-up. Inhale into baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then curl over your toes into downward facing dog. We'll hold here for 3 more long, slow, deep breaths. And then raising your right foot up behind you, pushing your right heel as high up to the ceiling as you can. You're going to step your right foot through in between your hands for a low lunge. And pausing there just for a moment, giving a little rock front and back to stretch out your left hip flexor. And then dropping your back heel down to the ground at about a 45-degree angle. Leading with the heart, we're going to float all the way up into Warrior One. So pressing the outside edge of your back foot into the mat and pulling your right hip back and your left hip forward, so you're squaring off your hips to the front of the mat. As you inhale, your pinkies come up a little bit higher, and then as you exhale, you bend your right knee forwards just a little bit more, keeping your back leg as straight as can be. We hold here for 3 more long, slow, deep breaths. Always reaching your pinkies up and shoulders away from your ears. And then opening up into Warrior Two, reaching your right arm forwards, left arm back behind you. And then driving your left knee towards the front of the room. Just take a moment to make sure that the heel of your front foot is in line with the arch of your back foot, as if you're standing on a tightrope, and then take the gaze over the ring finger of your right hand. As you inhale, your spine gets a little bit taller. As you exhale, you settle a little bit deeper into the pose. Dropping your back hand down to your back thigh, reaching your top arm over your head towards the back of the room, coming into Peaceful Warrior. And this left hand can support on your thigh, or you can drape it across your lower back and find your right hip crease. Holding here for 2 more breaths. Then on an exhale, bring your right elbow to your right knee, reaching your left arm over your head towards the front of the room and rolling your left shoulder blade over the right so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. Two more breaths. Taking your bottom arm underneath to grab onto your giant big ball of joy. Extend it up towards the front of the room, keeping your front knee bent. Reaching it forwards as far as you can. One more time up into the back of the room. And then cartwheeling both hands down either side of your front foot. Walk yourself out into your plank. Take whichever form of chaturanga you prefer. Inhale into your upward dog. And then exhale into your downward dog. And then pausing for a moment here just to kind of take stock of what's happened from one side to the other after doing that warrior sequence. And then raising your left foot all the way up behind you, pushing your left heel as high up to the ceiling as you can. Then stepping your left foot through in between your hands for a low lunge. And pausing there just for a moment to stretch out your right hip flexor. So maybe rocking front and back. Maybe up and down. And then dropping your back heel down to the ground at about a 45-degree angle. Leading with the heart, we float all the way up into Warrior One on the other side. So pressing the outside edge of your back foot into the mat and then drawing your right hip forwards and your left hip back. So your hips are square off to the front of the room. As you inhale, your pinkies reach up towards the sky. As you exhale, sink your shoulders down away from your ears so your upper back is engaged. Holding here for 3 more breaths. Then opening up into your Warrior Two. Reaching your left arm forwards, right hand back. Reaching out so far that your shoulders drop away from your ears. Then you drive that left knee forwards to come into the pose just a little bit deeper. Taking the gaze towards the ring finger of your left hand. Just making sure that back arm is level so it's not dropping down. Then dropping your back hand to your back leg, reaching your top arm over your head towards the back of the room as you drive your left knee forwards to come into Peaceful Warrior. On the exhale, bring your left elbow to your left knee, reaching your right arm forwards, and then rolling your right shoulder blade over the left so your heart gets to look up towards the ceiling. Imagine you have one line going from the edge of your back foot all the way out through your fingertips of your top hand. Keeping your front leg very strong, you're going to reach your bottom arm underneath to grab onto your big golden nose of joy. Extend it up to the ceiling and towards the back of the room. Extend it towards the front of the room, reaching out as far as you can. One more time up into the back of the room. Then cartwheeling both hands down, either side of your front foot. Walk yourself out into your plank and chaturanga. Inhale into your upward dog. And exhale into your downward dog. Looking in between your hands. Walk or jump forwards, back into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. Exhale, fold down a little bit deeper. And then inhale all the way up to standing, raising both arms to the sky. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Cool. So taking out a wide stance on your mat, pretty much as wide as feels comfortable. You're going to bring your hands to your hip crease. So you can find that bone right there. It's called the iliac crest. Once you find that bone, we're going to draw your elbows back towards each other. Inhale to look up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, folding at that hip crease. Keeping your back straight, coming all the way down into wide angle forward fold. Eventually releasing your hands and bringing your fingers in line with your toes. And then bring your forehead down to the floor in line with your fingers. And just inhaling and exhaling fully and completely here. Just letting your head be as heavy as can be. And then slowly walking both hands over to the right leg, grabbing onto that right ankle, massaging into the muscles of your right shin, your calf, your foot. Say thank you, foot. I love you. You're my friend. You've been with me all these years. You've never done me wrong. And then we're going to plant your left hand on that right ankle and reach your right arm out to the side and then roll open into a spinal twist. Rolling your right shoulder blade over the left and then giving a peace sign up towards the world. Because everyone needs a little bit more peace in the world. So this is how we're going to share it. Two more breaths. And exhale. And bring that right hand down. Walking both hands all the way over towards your left leg. And grabbing onto that left shin, left ankle. Massaging into the muscles of your leg and your calf. Left foot, say, I don't have any favorites. I love you too. You're my buddy. I'll never lose you, I hope. And then we're going to plant your right hand down onto your left ankle. Reach your left arm out to the side, and then rolling your left shoulder blade over the right, coming into a spinal twist. As you inhale, your spine gets a little bit longer. As you exhale, you twist just a little bit deeper, and then giving that peace sign again. Two more breaths here. Then on an exhale, bring that left hand back down to the ground, walking both hands back to center. One more time, just letting your head and your arms be heavy on the floor. And then sliding your hands up your legs. We're going to interlace your fingers behind your back, pulling your knuckles up towards the ceiling and then over your head towards the front of the room. Letting the weight of your arms stretch out your shoulder girdle, but your head is still staying loose and relaxed. And then leading with the heart, you're going to float all the way back up to standing, pulling your knuckles down to the floor behind you. Well, you can release your hands if you see any sparkles in your vision. That's cool. Just enjoy it. Then we're going to take your right toes and point them towards the front of the room, so that the heel of your right foot is in line with the arch of your left foot. Keeping both legs wicked straight. You're going to reach both arms out in either direction. From here, we're going to extend your right fingertips forwards, reaching your right hand as far forwards as you can until you naturally fold at the waist. And your right hand finds your right shin, or the floor, or a block if you are lucky enough to have one nearby. And your left shoulder blade opens up as if you're stuck in between two panes of glass, coming into triangle pose. So the muscles in your neck are still quite strong, so your head isn't collapsing down, but it's extending towards the front of the room. Two more breaths here. Then on an exhale, squeezing from the obliques to float back up. We're going to parallel your feet and point your left toes towards the back of the room, just making sure that your left heel is in line with the arch of your right foot. And then reaching your left fingertips forwards as far as you can to naturally fold at the waist and come down for triangle pose on the other side. So letting your left hand either find your shin or the floor or a block, and then rolling your right shoulder blade over the left. So we come into triangle pose. And this is one that can change a little bit with each breath. So as you exhale, maybe you can come into the pose a little bit deeper. As you inhale, maybe your spine gets a little bit longer. We'll hold here for two more long, slow, deep breaths. On the exhale, squeezing from the obliques to float all the way back up. Both hands come out to the sides before finding your hips. Then we'll come to stand front and center on your mat again. Excellent. You made it through triangle. Inhale, reaching both hands up towards the sky. And then exhale, folding forward at the waist, down into your forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out through the crown of your head. And then exhale to walk yourself out into your plank. And last, chaturanga. Inhale into your upward dog, and then exhale into your downward dog. Here we're going to raise your right foot all the way up behind you. We're going to float your right knee to your right elbow, hovering above the ground just for a moment, making that connection. Send your right leg straight back up behind you. And then bring your right knee to your left elbow, crossing under your midline, making that connection. Send it straight back up behind you. Bring your knee to your nose, try and actually kiss your kneecap. Send it straight back up behind you. And then folding your right leg through into pigeon pose. So bring your right knee kind of behind your right wrist. Right ankle is trying to be behind your left wrist. And then inch your back leg back just a little bit further so that it's more or less center on your mat. If you have a lot of space between your right hip and the floor, you can stuff a pillow under there to kind of take the strain off. Once you find your position, inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale to walk yourself down. Let your forehead rest on either your hands, or a pillow, or a block, or the floor. Wherever you're at, we're going to hold this for about 10 long, slow, deep breaths. So just taking your time to exhale and settle into the pose. See if you can visualize what muscles feel tight, what muscles are providing resistance. And then on the exhale, visualize them releasing and softening. So let your hips come down to the floor just a little bit deeper. Got about 3 more breaths here. Then whenever you're ready, you're going to slowly walk yourself back up, pausing for a moment at the top. Take a look over one shoulder so you can see the world behind you for a gentle spinal twist. Look over the other shoulder. Nobody snuck into your room while you were doing yoga. That's good. So we're going to curl under your back toe and make your way all the way back into your downward facing dog, taking your time to get there. Feeling the difference from one side to the other. And then raising your left foot all the way up behind you. Floating your left knee to your left elbow, hovering above the ground, making that connection. Send it straight back up behind you. Bring your left knee to your right elbow, crossing under your midline. Send it straight back up behind you. Bring your knee to your nose. Again, try and kiss your knee. Send it straight back up behind you. And then folding your left leg through into pigeon pose on the other side. So left knee is behind your left wrist. Left ankle is trying to get behind your right wrist. And then we wiggle your right foot back. So it's more or less center on the mat. You feel a good stretch underneath your left bum. If you have a good space there, stuff a pillow under it. Once you find your position, inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, walking yourself down to let your hands rest on the pillow or your hands on the floor. Wherever we're at, we're going to stay here for about 10 long, slow, deep breaths, just sending that signal to your body that it's okay to relax even in pigeon pose. Again, just trying to use visualization to identify the muscles that feel sore or tight or providing resistance, and just visualize them releasing with each exhale. here for 2 more long, slow, deep breaths. And whenever you're ready, slowly making your way back up. Pausing for a moment at the top. Taking a look over one shoulder, gentle spinal twist. Take a look over your other. From here, we're going to roll over onto your left bum cheek and bring your right leg around in front of you. And scooting yourself towards the front edge of your mat, and straighten out both legs. And moving the muscle out of the way, and move your bum cheeks out of the side so you can find those sits bones firmly on the ground. And then pressing the backs of your knees into the floor, we're going to inhale, raising both hands up over your head. And then exhale to fold to grab onto your feet. Let your forehead drop down towards your knees. So again, holding here and just letting the exhaling breath, let your head drop down towards your knees. And if you can't quite reach your feet, you can always slide your hands underneath your calves. And just provide a little bit of support that way for your forward fold. Holding here for 3 more breaths. And reaching out past your toes, floating all the way back up. Exhale, hands down by your sides. We'll make your way flat onto your back. Bending at the knees so you can just about find your heels with your fingertips. We're going to push off your heels, raising your hips up towards the ceiling as high as you can. And if you want to put a block or a pillow under here and just relax for a little bit of sacral release, that's awesome. Or if you want to take it a step further, we're going to interlace your fingers underneath your bum and then walk your elbows and your triceps towards each other. So you lift your back up off the floor and you're stacking all your weight on the back of your arms and your shoulders. Then squeezing from the hips, the bum, to raise your hips up towards the ceiling. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely. We hold here for 2 more long, slow, deep breaths. Then on the exhale, releasing your arms, removing a pillow if you put one there, coming all the way down to the mat, and hugging both knees into your chest. Giving a little rock side to side, massaging the muscles of your lower back into the floor. And if your upper back feels tight, like this is the time where you can get kind of weird. Roll around in a big circle if you want to. Roll all the way up. You can kind of do whatever you want for the next minute or so. Part of yoga is just listening to your body and not necessarily listening to your yoga teacher. So it's good to kind of have a little bit of time to say, oh wow, my body needs to just do nothing or roll around. But there's a time to stop all this silliness eventually. So we'll come back to still, right in the middle. We're going to straighten out your right leg along the floor, pushing your right heel away from you. And then with your right hand, we're going to draw your left knee across your body for a spinal twist, reaching your left arm out to the side. So as you inhale, your body lungs expand. And as you exhale, just letting your limbs be heavy. So the right arm is just kind of holding the left knee in place, but it's not pulling it down towards the ground. Whenever you're ready, slowly making your way onto your back. Hugging both knees into your chest again. A little rock side to side. And then straighten out your left leg along the floor. And with your left hand, pulling your right leg across your body, reaching your right arm out to the side. Just breathing while holding the spinal twist. Letting your mind begin to soften. Whenever you're ready, slowly making your way onto your back, hugging both knees into your chest one last time. And then tucking your forehead up towards your knees, making your body like a little itty bitty seed, and then straightening out your arms and legs into your Shavasana pose. Letting your feet splay out open to the sides, letting your palms face the ceiling. And take the next few moments to rest in stillness and silence. Just see if you can feel your body resting on the floor so you get the full benefit of your yoga practice. Slowly wiggling your fingers and your toes, bringing them back into your body. At your own pace, draw your knees into your chest. Roll over onto your side and push yourself up into a comfortable sitting position. Letting your hands rest on your thighs or your lap, your eyes closed. We find ourselves how we began today's practice. Just seeing if you can observe any changes that may have happened in the quality of your breath, or the depth of your breath without forcing the breath. Remembering the intention that you set for yourself at the beginning of today's practice. Seeing how you can carry that attention with you for the rest of your day. And then sending out a silent message of love and peace, patience, to everybody out there who could use it today. Inhale, raising both hands up over your head. Exhale your hands into a prayer in front of your heart. And we'll close today's practice with a heartfelt namaste. Namaste, everybody. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. I hope to see you all on Friday morning for court class.